2 months ago, I decided to launch my AI automation agency, and it didn't work out. So here is the story. So first of all, what is an AI automation agency? So we have to think about what is an automation. So an automation is a sequence of steps that you configure for a specific task. So for example, let's say that you want to send an automated email sequence after you receive a new lead. So someone wants to apply for your service, and then you want to contact this person automatically and do all sorts of things. Well, that could be an automation. There are a lot of software for doing this. So the older one is Zapier, but there are other ones like Make.com or N8N. And so those software have existed for a long time, but what has changed recently is that those software became more capable. So you can do all sort of crazy stuff, like you can have a if statement, you can have a for loop, and now you can have AI also in the steps. And so that means that we can do so much more automation. And because of that, we've seen on the market a new type of company that help other companies to automate the process by using those software. So we call this AI automation agency. So very practically, what they do is that they will analyze the workflows of companies, and they will create this process to automate them. And so they make money with two different ways. So first, when an AI agency sells this automation, there is a fixed fee, so it can be $5,000, $10,000. And then there is also supposed to be a recurring fee, because very often those automation will be run by the automation company, because there are all sort of things that can go wrong. So there is some monitoring to do. There can be some customization. Maybe there is some API that you need to register for. And so just to make it simple, the AI agency just tell the customer, look, we're going to do it for you, so just pay us a fee every month. And of course, this fee is above what is their actual cost. So they actually have some recurring revenue. So on paper, this is a really nice business model. And some agency makes, AI agency makes 10, 20K, 30K, even 100K. So this is a very, very solid business model. And so why did I choose to launch this AI automation agency? Well, so for those who don't know my channel, so a couple of months ago, I was known mainly for in the crypto space. I used to be an education channel for blockchain developers, so completely different from AI. And then I decided to switch to AI because my interests have changed. And when I got into this space, one of the first things I wonder is, okay, well, how can I niche down? Because, AI is really big. So I want to talk about one specific topic, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. So I studied on different YouTube channels, how can we make money as an entrepreneur in AI? And there are a couple of business models I saw, but there's one that really got my attention. It was the AAA model, or AI automation agency. And why it caught my attention? Because it seems to me that it was one of the easiest way to get into AI. It was one of the fastest way also to get into AI. So for me, it was very practical, because I don't need to think too much for months about what I want to do, but right away, it's very, very fast to launch an AI automation agency. Really, you just need to study maybe for a couple of weeks, and then you can already offer your service. So I thought that could be a great way to get started. And so my long-term plan was to create this AI agency, wait to get results, so at least to make $10,000 per month, and then once I reach this level, the step 2 would be to run a coaching business or have a private pet community where I help my students to achieve the same results. So basically to launch and run their own AI agency. So that was the plan. And there are many other YouTube channels that do this. So that was my inspiration. So after I decided to go for this plan, next thing I did was to learn, because I didn't know anything about AI automation. So I watched a ton of YouTube tutorials, and there's one channel in particular that I recommend, Nate AI Automation, a great channel. He has this crazy 8 hours course, and I watched it at 2x speed, and yeah, that was great. So after those tutorials, I also started to do some real project, because if you just follow tutorials, you don't have enough real experience. The experience comes when the experience and the confidence comes only after you've tried to do something, and you will realize that contrary to the tutorial, it's not as smooth, okay? Maybe something is a bit outdated, the graphical interface changed, something changed, and then you have to do some research to fix the problem, and this is when you learn, but this is also when you acquire confidence. So this is what I did, and to pick this automation, it was easy. I just picked some processes that I have in my business of a YouTuber. So I automated, for example, I run a job newsletter. So, and this is really boring for me to do because this is always the same step. So I created an N8N automation for that. Now it just takes me 10 minutes. Great use case. Actually, I've made a video on this if you are interested on my channel. Another automation I did was a tool for market research. So I wanted to know if those private school communities that we see for AI automation, I wanted to see if they're really profitable. So I created a scrapper that every day goes on different communities, check the number of members, and then report this on a Google spreadsheet. And then I can calculate the evolution of their profits, and I can see if they are churning. And that was very interesting because some of this community, they make a ton of money, like 100K, 200K, but I saw that actually a lot of them are not growing. The churn is pretty important. And I was able to do this with an automation. Then I did also some automation for my own community. So I have a free community for AI solopreneur. By the way, if you want to register, follow the link down below. And so for this community, basically, when people join my community, they ask me, I ask them some question, and I want to record those questions in a Google spreadsheet, because once I've approved them, I cannot see those answers anymore. So instead of doing it manually, that was a great use case for an automation. So this is what I did. And then the automation also add them directly to my email list. And I also did an automation to study to help me for content creation. So this automation check some of my favorite YouTube channel, and then it records some outlier videos, or video that did pretty well. So a couple of little automation I did, and I use all of this to apply to jobs. So the next step, once I felt confident in my skills, I wanted to find my first client. And this is why I created an account on Upwork, which is a freelancing platform. So I created a profile. It took me some time, because you have a lot of information to fill, and you don't really want to use AI too much because people can see when you use AI. So you just want to use AI for the bullet points, but then you want to actually write yourself the text so that it looks like it was written by a human. I also created an introduction video, and because that helps you to stand out a little bit, because now a customer can see how you look like. It's not just a random profile. And I created my portfolio on Upwork. So I used those projects that I did for my own business, and so I mentioned them in my portfolio. I also had to invest a little bit of money because nowadays Upwork is not free anymore. If you want to apply to job, you have to spend some credit. So the minimum is a subscription of $20 per month. So I've already subscribed for 2 months. I spent $40, and I applied to 5 jobs only. I had 3 conversations. There was one good client, so that was a corporate client that possibly there was some potential long-term collaboration, and he was interested in training. He wanted me to train their team for AI automations. And but the majority of the leads I had were really so-so, and especially the last guy was it was just a disaster. Basically, I was so I didn't work with that guy. We're just talking, you know, potential lead, and I could see the guy was completely retarded. I just asked him a couple of questions to try to understand what he wants to do, and he was completely unable to have like a normal conversation. So I just decided to ignore him, and I didn't want to keep working on looking on Upwork really. So then I changed my strategy, and I'm like, okay, well, why don't I leverage my platform, YouTube? I mean, I have a huge advantage here. I have this YouTube channel with 170,000 subscribers, so of course I can get some leads coming from YouTube. And I've heard from other AI agency that YouTube is one of the best source for leads. So I created a couple of videos about N8N. I did some tutorials, and in this video I put what we call a CTS, or call to action, where I invite viewers to send me a message if they need an automation from me. And I got 5 leads from YouTube and 1 meeting. And that was, out of all the leads I got, it was the best one. So basically this guy was working for this consulting company that reviews construction plans from architects. Because, you know, you have to, those construction plans, they have to meet certain standards for construction building codes. And so what he wanted to do was to create an automation that helped them to speed up the process of reviewing these construction plans. And it was really interesting, but I was a bit scared, because for a first project, it's pretty scary to do that. So nowadays, the models like ChatGPT, they are a multi-model, which means that they can accept different type of information in input, so text, but also images. So potentially you can feed it a construction plan, give it some criteria, and maybe it can find what is wrong with this construction plan. But I don't know, it seems pretty complex for a first project. I made a proposal and the guy never came back to me. And yeah, and that was it. So it shows that YouTube in a personal branding is really good for generating leads compared to Upwork. But after that, I basically decided that I don't want to continue. So why is that? Okay, so first of all, what about the market for AI automation? There is definitely some demand, okay? I saw it on Upwork. There are a lot of jobs. If there are a lot of companies that are looking for this service, no problem. But it's competitive. The barrier to entry is very low, you know, like if you want to use N8N, make.com, you know, this is a graphical interface, so even non-coders can do it. There isn't much to it really. The only small difficulty would be to create AI agents and maybe know how to insert some context. But even then, like without coding at all, you can already get some result. So what I heard from other agency owners is that there are a few bad things I heard. So first of all, about the recurring fee that I mentioned before, you know, it's one of the main appeal of this business is that beside the initial setup fee, supposedly you can make some recurring, you have some recurring income. Okay, but the people I spoke to told me that in reality the churn is sky high. Okay, so maybe a customer will stay with you for 1 month, 2 months, and then they will cancel the automation and then try to redo it themselves because they don't want to pay you anymore. So it's really hard to actually get this recurring income. And the few successful AI agency owners that I met, and not YouTube guru, but real people that I met in real life so that I can really trust that what they say is true, told me that the most successful thing they did was to sell education to businesses. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to implement this workflow for you, they taught those teams how to create workflows themselves and also how to use AI tools. And it makes a lot of sense because for a business owner, it's very convincing if you tell him or her, hey, you know what, I'm going to improve the efficiency of your team by 20%. I just need to run this 4-hour workshop. It's $1,000, $2,000, and for business owners, it's a pretty good value proposition. And also, it can be a good first step to upsell some more expensive services after. So this is what I realized, is that really right now education is the thing that sells, but not necessarily. I haven't met a lot of people who actually sell automation, but they do exist, because on Upwork you can see this is real, but this is competitive. Another thing that bothered me with AI automation was that I really wonder how future-proof it is, especially when AI gets better. What is the effect for this AI agency? Does it help them or does it not help them? Because when AI gets better, well, it's easier for customer to do it themselves. So why would they hire some agency? So I'm really not sure that this is really long term. I think potentially with an AI agency, you have maybe a couple of years where you can make some money, but even less. But I'm not sure if it's really long term or not. And then I also wonder about SaaS, okay? Because what happened with SaaS business is that a lot of SaaS, they're going to automate the most popular automations. So think of it from the point of view of a customer. Do you want to bother to set up like a custom automation, or to use a SaaS service that already hide all the complexity behind, that you don't really see this? I mean, most customers, they just want something clean and simple. So over time, I think that SaaS business are going to eat the lunch of AI agency. Okay, so another thing I want to mention is that I don't think I worked hard enough to really test this business model, both in terms of time and in terms of quantity of work. I needed to do maybe 10 times as much as what I did to really test the idea. So I want to be fair and really say this. But the thing is, I really didn't enjoy chasing clients. I could see after chasing just a few customers, basically, it really reminded me that this is a service-based business, and I hate that kind of business, really. Before running my education business, I used to be a freelancer, and I just hated it. I just hated every second of it, because you always have to hustle to find the next customer, and I wasn't happy at all. Like, that was really freelancing hell. I wanted to get out of it, and I got out of it thanks to YouTube, really. So now, I don't know why I thought that maybe I changed and maybe I would magically be interested in that kind of business again. And no, I haven't changed at all, and I still hate it. So there is still an advantage to that kind of business, which is it would be easier to get started an AI agency compared to, let's say, a SaaS, but it's harder to scale. This being said, I was a bit disappointed because I thought it would be easier than this to get started. I realized it's actually also competitive. So my point is that, well, if you are to struggle anyway to get your business off the ground, why not going for something that you really value, like a really worthy objective, something you will really enjoy, something that has even more upside, like a SaaS. And I also realized that after I started to talk about AI agency, I realized that my audience, so you guys really didn't follow, okay? So there was some initial excitement after I announced my pivot to AI. But then the videos after that, when I started to talk about video AI automation, they didn't do so great, okay? So I run some polls in my community, and I realized that you guys were more interested in SaaS, but not at all in AI automation. And you know what? Me too, okay? It's just that I was just a bit of too much of a coward, because I thought that AI automation is easier, but no. And in any case, we just have one life, okay? So let's just go for the things that we really want, okay? So let's just go for AI SaaS. And so from now on this channel, I want to talk mainly about how to create your SaaS business with AI. We will still have some videos where maybe I mention automation and N8N, but only if this is relevant for building your SaaS. For example, one thing you can do is you can study there is a marketplace on the website of N8N where you can see all the popular workflows, and you can see you can get some ideas for your SaaS by seeing which workflows are the most popular. But I don't want to talk about the business of running an AI automation agency because basically I decided not to go in this direction anymore. So from now on, we go all in for SaaS business. Now, a quick note, I'm not alone in this AI automation agency that I launched. So there are other people in the team. So I'm not going to completely shut down the operation, but this is not going to be my main thing. So I'm going to create another channel just to push this agency. And I'm going to do videos 100% to get end clients. So I'm not going to try to sell the dream of running an AI automation agency. Now the goal is really just to find those clients. So if you are interested in this, I'm going to put the link down below for this new channel. But in the future, I won't talk of this channel anymore. So I'm kind of curious, what do you think of this new pivot? Are you interested in building your SaaS? And if yes, what is stopping you? Tell me in the comments down below. All right, thanks for following this video. I will see you next time. Bye.